The spaceship Horizon moved silently through the darkness beyond Pluto. It was the first human vessel to venture this far into deep space. Commander Allison Wright stood on the bridge, her eyes fixed on the main screen. Stars shone like distant jewels against the black canvas of space. "Anything on the scanners, Jack?" she asked. Lieutenant Jack Freeman shook his head, then paused. He leaned closer to his screen, his brow furrowed. "Wait, I'm picking up something. Metal. Big. It's not one of ours." Allison's heart raced. After years of searching, they might have found proof of alien life. "Show me," she ordered. The main screen changed to show a sleek vessel. It gleamed silver and blue, clearly built by hands more skilled than human ones. It was beautiful and terrifying at once. "Try to contact them," Allison said. "All frequencies, all languages. Send the first contact package." Jack nodded and began the transmission. The first contact package contained basic math, images of Earth, and friendly greetings in 100 human languages. Scientists had spent decades preparing it. Minutes passed. The crew held their breath. "They're responding," Jack said suddenly. "I'm receiving a signal." The alien message filled their screens. Strange symbols flowed across, followed by images that seemed to shift and change. Dr. Peter Hayes, the ship's language expert, worked quickly at his station. "They call themselves the Vexari," he said after a while. "I think they're asking what we are." "Tell them we are humans from planet Earth," Allison said. "We come in peace, seeking knowledge and friendship." Peter sent the message. The response came faster this time. "This can't be right," Peter muttered, his face pale. "According to my translation, they're laughing at us. They're saying we're too primitive to be worth talking to." Allison frowned. "Send another message. Explain that we've developed space travel and want to learn about other civilizations." The next reply made Peter's hands shake. "Commander, they're saying humans are classified as pre-sapient fauna, barely smarter than animals. They don't believe we built this ship ourselves." "That's ridiculous," Jack said. "We've split the atom. We've mapped our own DNA. We've built artificial intelligence." "Send them proof," Allison ordered. "Send them our history, our science, our art." The crew worked quickly, sending data about human achievements. The Vexari ship remained silent for nearly an hour. "They're moving," Jack warned suddenly. "They're coming closer." Allison stood straighter. "Maintain position. Show them we're not afraid." The Vexari ship grew larger on their screen. It dwarfed the horizon, like a whale next to a minnow. "They're scanning us," Jack reported. "Our system's air." He stopped, alarmed. "They've locked something onto us." "Raise shields," Allison ordered. "Shields at maximum." "But they're using technology we don't understand." A message appeared on their screen. Peter read it with horror. "They say examining our primitive vessel has confirmed their assessment. We are not worth diplomatic relations. Our presence this far from our home planet is inappropriate." "Tell them we mean no harm," Allison said urgently. "We'll return to Earth if they wish." Before Peter could send the message, the ship shuddered violently. "They're firing on us," Jack shouted. Allison grabbed the ship-wide comm. "All hands, emergency stations. Prepare tow." The next blast tore through their shields like paper. Alarms blared throughout the ship. "Launch the emergency beacon," Allison commanded as systems failed around them. "Make sure Earth knows what happened here." Jack hit the controls. A small pod shot away from the dying ship, carrying data about the encounter and a warning. The Vexari ship fired again. The horizon broke apart in a silent explosion. Its crew lost in an instant. The aliens departed, certain that the primitive beings from Earth could pose no threat to the galactic order. They were wrong. 6 months later, the emergency beacon crashed into Earth's atmosphere. It landed in a field outside Houston, where scientists quickly retrieved it. The data it carried changed everything. Dr. Benjamin Carter sat in a dimly lit lab, his eyes red from lack of sleep. For weeks, he had worked to decode the alien language captured by the horizon before its destruction. Papers covered with strange symbols littered his desk. "I think I've got it," he said to the empty room. He picked up his phone and called General Frank Miller. "Sir, I can read their language now. You need to see this." Hours later, world leaders gathered in an underground facility. The room was silent as they watched the final moments of the horizon and its crew. "Those monsters," whispered President Laura Brooks. "They killed our people without warning." "The Vexeri didn't see it as murder," Ben explained. "According to their messages, they view us as animals. Smart animals, but not true thinking beings." "We need to respond," said General Miller. "Show them humans aren't to be dismissed." "With what?" asked Ambassador Olivia Martinez. "We have no ships that could reach them, let alone fight them." As they argued, a technician rushed in. "Ma'am, we're detecting an object entering our solar system. It's massive." Satellite images showed an enormous vessel approaching Earth. It wasn't Vexeri. This ship was round and golden, like a perfect sphere. "Are they hostile?" the president asked. Before anyone could answer, screens around the room lit up with a message in perfect English. "Greetings, Earth fauna. Representatives of the Galactic Confederation wish to examine your world." 3 days later, Olivia Martinez stood in the United Nations building, facing the first aliens to visit Earth. They called themselves the Jaxari. They looked almost human, except for their blue skin and extra fingers. But they spoke to the humans like adults speaking to very small children. "We are impressed by your crude attempts at civilization," said lead observer Kren. "Few pre-sapient species build such complex nests." "We are not pre-sapient," Olivia said firmly. "We are fully intelligent beings with art, science, and culture." Kren made a sound like laughter. "Many animals have interesting behaviors. Your species has been studied and classified. You are not yet full sapiens by Confederation standards." Ben showed them human achievements: literature, mathematics, music. The aliens seemed mildly interested, like scientists observing clever pets. "What about the Vexari?" General Miller demanded. "They destroyed our ship without cause." Kren examined the beacon data. "The Vexeri acted within normal parameters for dealing with territorial primitive species. Your vessel entered space you are not evolved enough to claim." "They murdered our people," Miller shouted. "Lower creatures often fight over territory," Kren explained patiently. "The Confederation does not interfere with natural behaviors." That night, Earth's leaders met in secret. "They won't help us," President Brooks said. "To them, we're just smart monkeys." "Then we should act like good little monkeys," Olivia suggested, her eyes sharp with anger, while secretly preparing to show them exactly what humans can do. "How?" asked Ben. "Their technology is centuries beyond ours." "Then we'll have to leap centuries ahead," the president said. "Starting now." The next day, Olivia met with Kren again. She bowed her head submissively. "The Earth Council accepts the Confederation's wisdom. We know our place now." Kren seemed pleased. "Wise fauna. The Confederation will allow limited human presence in nearby space, under supervision. Some of your kind may even make suitable service creatures for Confederation citizens." "We are grateful," Olivia said, keeping her face neutral while her hands formed fists beneath the table. Behind her practiced smile, a plan was already forming. The aliens would learn, too late, that they had made a terrible mistake in dismissing humanity. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, a new facility took shape. The sign at its entrance read Wildlife Preservation Center, a name chosen to fool any watching aliens. Inside, however, humanity worked on Project Revelation. Chief Engineer Samantha Powell stood before a massive engine unlike any built before. She wiped sweat from her forehead as she made final adjustments to the power core. "Will it work?" asked Colonel Daniel Green, who oversaw the military aspects of the project. "It has to," Samantha replied. "The Confederation's ships use quantum fold technology for space travel. Our version isn't as refined. but it's functional. Around them, thousands of scientists and engineers worked day and night. The world had united with a single purpose: to prove humanity deserved respect. In another section of the facility, Dr. Natalie Ross monitored a complex neural interface. Test subjects wore sleek helmets connected to ship simulators. "What have you discovered?" asked President Brooks during her weekly inspection. Natalie smiled. "Something unexpected. Human brains have a unique pattern. We can interface with computers in ways the aliens can't. Look at this." On a screen, a pilot thought a command, and the simulated ship responded instantly. "The aliens rely on physical controls," Natalie explained. "But we can link directly. It gives us reaction times 10 times faster than theirs." "How soon until we can implement this?" 6 months, maybe less. Meanwhile, Ambassador Martinez continued to play her role perfectly. She showed appropriate awe whenever Confederation representatives demonstrated their technology. She expressed childlike gratitude when they permitted humans to establish a small outpost on Mars. "The fauna show remarkable adaptability," Kren noted to his colleagues. "They may evolve into true sapients in a mere 50,000 years." What the aliens didn't know was that each educational demonstration provided humans with precious information. Each seemingly simple permission granted access to new areas of space where humans could hide their growing fleet. 1 year after first contact, the first human warship was ready. Hidden in an abandoned mining tunnel on the moon, the U.S. Defiance waited for its crew. Captain Eric Russell ran his hand along the ship's sleek hull. Unlike the bulky vessels humans had built before, this one incorporated everything they had learned from studying alien technology. "She's beautiful," he said to Samantha Powell, who had overseen its construction. "And invisible to their sensors," Samantha added. "The cloaking technology masks our power signature as natural radiation. How many more are we building?" 15 under construction now. Another 30 in the planning stages. Eric nodded. "It won't be enough if they send their full military, but it might be enough to change their minds about us." In Washington, D.C., Ben Carter made another breakthrough. He had been studying the complex legal codes of the Galactic Confederation. "I found something," he told President Brooks and Ambassador Martinez. "Their laws actually protect sentient species. The problem is, they've classified us as non-sentient. How do we change that classification?" Olivia asked. "We need to demonstrate 3 things: technological achievement beyond basic tool use, complex cultural systems, and ethical frameworks that consider the welfare of other species. We can show the first 2 easily enough," President Brooks said. "But how do we prove the third when they've given us every reason to hate them?" Ben sighed. "That's the hardest part. We need to show mercy and justice, even when we have the power for vengeance." As they spoke, a message arrived from the moon base. The Defiance had completed all tests successfully. It was ready. "It's time to move to Phase 2, the president decided. That night, the Defiance silently left its lunar hiding place, carrying Earth's first true deep space crew. Their mission was simple but dangerous: to gather intelligence on Vexari movements while remaining undetected. No one realized how soon they would be forced to reveal themselves. The Vexari ships appeared without warning. 5 massive vessels entered the solar system, heading straight for the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. Earth's monitoring stations detected them immediately, but humans kept their knowledge secret from the Confederation observers. Ambassador Martinez requested an emergency meeting with Kren. She found the alien representative relaxing in his embassy quarters, drinking something that smelled like rotten flowers. "Honored observer," Olivia said, bowing low as expected, "we have noticed strange ships in our system. Are they friends of the Confederation?" Kren barely looked at her. "The Vexari Mining Guild has claimed resource rights to your system's asteroid belt. Nothing for fauna to worry about." "But we have a research station there," Olivia said, trying to keep her voice humble. "Station Delta has 20 scientists studying space rocks." The Vexari have been informed of your primitive outpost, Kren replied. They will avoid it if convenient. If convenient? Olivia's mask of submission slipped slightly. Those are our people. Kren's eyes narrowed. Remember your place, Earth creature. The resources of this system are valuable to real civilizations. Your kind is permitted to exist here only by Confederation tolerance. Olivia lowered her eyes, hiding her anger. We understand, observer. Thank you for your wisdom. She left the embassy and immediately contacted President Brooks. Within hours, the crew of Station Delta received orders to evacuate. But it was already too late. Dr. Benjamin Carter watched the live feed from Mission Control with horror. The Vexari ships surrounded Station Delta. One of the scientists on board, Patricia Carter, Ben's wife, sent a transmission. They're demanding we leave immediately, Patricia reported. They say this area now belongs to them. We're preparing the shuttle, but they're not giving us much time. Ben grabbed a microphone. Tell them you need 6 hours to safely power down the systems. The Confederation gave us rights to that station. Patricia nodded and relayed the message. The response came quickly. They refuse, she said, her voice shaking. They say Vexari mining schedules can't be delayed for fauna concerns. Keep stalling, Ben pleaded. We're sending help. But there was no help to send. Not yet. The Defiance was too far away, testing its systems near Neptune. On the screen, a bright flash appeared. The Vexari had fired on the station. The feed went static. 200 humans died in that moment. The Vexari mining fleet continued their work, unbothered by what they had done. When Earth protested to the Confederation Council, the response was cold. Unfortunate, but within acceptable parameters for dealing with primitive species, the Council ruled. The Vexari provided notice of their intent to use resources. The failure of pre-sapients to vacate promptly is not their concern. That night, leaders from around the world gathered in the underground facility. The mood was grim. They murdered 200 people, General Miller said. And the Confederation just shrugged. Ben Carter sat silently. He had not spoken since watching his wife die. The Defiance is ready, Captain Russell reported via secure channel. 6 more ships are nearly complete. We can strike back. Not yet, President Brooks said. We need more ships, more preparation. While we prepare, they're setting up permanent mining operations, Samantha Powell pointed out. Soon they'll have heavy defenses in place. Ben finally looked up. His eyes were red but dry. My wife named a star after me once, he said quietly. She said no matter how far apart we were, we could look at the same stars. Now she's gone, and they don't even consider it murder. The room fell silent. The Vexari must pay, Ben continued. Not just for Patricia, but for everyone on the horizon, for everyone on Delta Station. They need to learn humans are not animals to be slaughtered. President Brooks nodded slowly. Captain Russell, bring the Defiance home. It's time to show our hand. Across the solar system, a sleek, black ship turned and began its journey back to Earth. The first phase of humanity's vengeance was about to begin. The Vexari mining fleet moved closer to Earth. They sent a message to the Confederation Embassy. They planned to establish permanent extraction facilities in Earth orbit. Humans would need to limit their primitive satellite network to make way for superior technology. Kren informed Earth's leaders of this decision, as if telling children they needed to clean up their toys. The Vexari bring prosperity to your system, he explained slowly. Your species will benefit from observing real civilization at work. We understand, President Brooks replied with false meekness. When will they arrive? 3 Earth days. Prepare your people to witness greatness. As soon as Kren left, the president activated a secure line to the moon base. Are we ready? General Miller nodded on screen. 7 ships operational. The neural interfaces are working perfectly. Our pilots can outmaneuver anything the Vexari bring. And the Confederation observers. Dr. Ross has developed a selective jamming field. They'll see and hear only what we want them to. For 3 days, Earth appeared to prepare for the Vexari arrival. News channels told people to remain calm. Schools planned special lessons about our friends from space. Behind this peaceful mask, humanity prepared for war. The Defiance and 6 sister ships moved into position, hidden by their advanced cloaking technology. Captain Eric Russell addressed his crew from the bridge. Today, we show the galaxy that humans are not animals to be hunted or ignored. We fight not just for ourselves, but for everyone lost on the horizon and Station Delta. The crew wore sleek helmets that connected their minds directly to the ship's systems. The neural link gave them reaction times no alien could match. On Earth, Ambassador Martinez met with Kren one last time. "Will you watch the Vexari arrival with me?" she asked, her voice deliberately timid. "If it pleases you, Fauna," he replied with the condescending tone she had come to hate. The Vexari mining fleet entered Earth orbit with arrogant confidence. 12 massive ships, bristling with equipment designed to strip planets of resources. "Magnificent, aren't they?" Kren said. "Your primitive kind could never build such wonders." Olivia checked her watch. "Actually, I think you might be surprised by what humans can build." At that moment, Captain Russell gave the order. "All ships, disengage cloaking. Weapons hot." Like ghosts becoming solid, 7 human warships appeared around the Vexari fleet. They were smaller than the alien vessels, but moved with incredible speed and precision. Kren jumped from his seat. What trickery is this? Before he could call for help, the jamming field activated. His communications went dead. The Defiance fired first. A beam of concentrated energy sliced through the lead Vexari ship's engines. The vessel listed helplessly. "Target their weapons and propulsion only," Russell ordered. "No unnecessary casualties." The human fleet danced around the larger Vexari ships. The neural interfaces allowed pilots to react instantly, making moves that seemed impossible. 3 Vexari ships were disabled in the first minute. Communications Officer Kelly Martinez opened a channel that broadcast to all galactic frequencies. "Attention Vexari miners and Galactic Confederation. This is humanity speaking. No longer will we be dismissed as animals. No longer will we tolerate the murder of our people." The remaining Vexari ships tried to fight back, but they were too slow. Their weapons targeted empty space while human vessels struck with surgical precision. On the embassy view screen, Kren watched in shock as the mighty mining fleet was systematically disabled by ships that shouldn't exist. "Impossible," he whispered. "Pre-sapient species cannot build such technology." Olivia Martinez smiled coldly. "Perhaps you should reconsider your classification of humans." Within 15 minutes, the entire Vexari mining fleet was disabled but not destroyed. Captain Russell's voice echoed across space. "This is just the beginning. Earth is now closed to those who do not recognize our sovereignty. Any vessel entering our system without permission will meet the same fate." Across the galaxy, species who had dismissed humans as clever animals began to worry they had made a terrible mistake. News of the human victory spread across the galaxy faster than anyone expected. The Galactic Confederation Council called an emergency meeting to discuss the human problem. Representatives from 100 alien species gathered in the Great Hall on the Confederation capital world. "How could primitive fauna defeat a Vexari fleet?" demanded the Vexari High Commander. His red scales bristled with rage. "They must have had help from another Confederation species." Kren stood before the council, still shaken by what he had witnessed. "I saw it myself. Their ships appeared from nowhere. They moved with impossible speed and precision." "You were their observer," accused the High Commander. "You failed to notice them building a war fleet." "They hid it well," Kren admitted. "While showing proper submission to our face, they were secretly preparing for war." The council chambers erupted in angry shouts and accusations. Earth had made the entire Confederation look foolish. Meanwhile, Ambassador Olivia Martinez stood outside the chamber doors. She had traveled to the Confederation capital uninvited, demanding to address the council. They had kept her waiting for hours. A tall, slender alien approached her. Unlike the Vexari or Jaxari, this being had pale green skin and 4 arms. It wore simple white robes. "I am Seleth, representative of the Kilari," the alien said in perfect English. "My people have watched your conflict with interest." Olivia looked at him suspiciously. "The Kilari? I haven't heard of your species. We keep to ourselves. The Vexari are ancient enemies of my people. They claimed our homeworld's moon for mining 3 centuries ago. Many Kilari died, and the Confederation did nothing." Seleth's large eyes blinked slowly. "The Vexari have powerful friends in the Council. But now, perhaps humans could become our allies. We have technologies that might interest you." Before Olivia could respond, the chamber doors opened. A small Jaxari official gestured for her to enter. "The Council will hear the human now," he said with obvious distaste. Olivia straightened her jacket and walked into a room filled with hostile alien faces. She felt no fear, only cold determination. "Esteemed Council," she began, "I come representing Earth and all humans. We demand recognition as a fully sapient species, with all rights that status provides. We also demand reparations for the unprovoked destruction of our ship Horizon and the murder of 200 scientists on Station Delta." The Vexari High Commander slammed his fist on the table. "Preposterous. You are animals who stole technology you cannot possibly understand. Your ships will be confiscated and your planet quarantined." Olivia smiled thinly. "I'm afraid that won't be possible. While I've been speaking, my government has activated our newest achievement." She touched a small device on her wrist, and a hologram appeared in the center of the chamber. It showed a vast network of satellites surrounding Earth. "We call it the Quantum Nexus," she explained. "It creates a field that allows our ships to coordinate instantly across any distance. Right now, we have 35 vessels positioned at key points throughout Confederation space." Gasps and cries of alarm filled the chamber. "Impossible," shouted a Jaxari scientist. "Such technology would require computational power beyond even our most advanced systems." "You underestimated us," Olivia replied simply. "A mistake many have made." Back on Earth, Dr. Natalie Ross monitored the quantum nexus from her control room. President Brooks stood behind her, watching screens that showed human ships strategically placed near important Confederation worlds. "Are we really ready for a galactic war?" the president asked quietly. "We don't want war," Natalie replied. "We just need to show enough strength that they'll respect our rights." On another screen, they watched the Vexari respond to humanity's show of force. A massive battle fleet was assembling, far larger than the mining vessels humans had defeated. "They're coming for us," General Miller observed. "All of them." "Good," said the president. "Phase 3 is ready. Let's show the galaxy what happens when you push humans too far." The Vexari battle fleet entered the solar system with enough firepower to destroy a dozen planets. 47 warships, each 10 times larger than the Defiance, moved toward Earth with deadly purpose. "They seek total destruction," Captain Russell reported from his ship. "This isn't a mining operation. This is extermination." In the command center beneath the Rocky Mountains, Earth's leaders watched the approaching armada with grim faces. "Our ships are outnumbered," General Miller said. "Even with our advanced technology, we can't win a direct battle." "We don't need to win," Dr. Ross reminded him. "We just need to change their minds." President Brooks nodded. "Activate the micro-jump system. Execute Operation Phantom." Across the solar system, human ships received their orders. The Defiance led 6 vessels directly toward the Vexari fleet. "They send only 7 ships." The Vexari admiral laughed. "Their victory over our miners was luck. Now they will learn true power." The Vexari opened fire. Their energy weapons tore through space toward the human vessels. At the last possible second, the human ships vanished. "Where did they go?" the admiral demanded. "Unknown, sir. They just disappeared." Suddenly, The Defiance and its sister ships appeared behind the Vexari fleet. They fired quickly, disabling the engines of 3 warships before vanishing again. Micro-jump successful, reported Lieutenant Lisa Patel aboard the Defiance. All ships ready for another pass. The human vessels continued their hit-and-run attacks. They appeared, struck, and disappeared before the Vexari could respond. It was like fighting ghosts. The Confederation had sent an observation vessel to watch the battle. As the Vexari grew more frustrated, they fired wildly, not caring what they hit. A stray shot headed directly for the observers. Lieutenant Patel noticed the danger. Without hesitation, she calculated a micro-jump that placed the Defiance between the blast and the Confederation ship. The energy weapon struck the human vessel, causing serious damage. Hull breach on decks 3 and 4. Someone shouted on the bridge. "Get us out of here," Captain Russell ordered. "Can't, sir. The jump drive is damaged, and we're losing power." The Confederation observers watched in shock as the human ship took the hit meant for them. It was an act of sacrifice they hadn't expected from primitive fauna. Meanwhile, Dr. Ross had activated her most secret weapon. From Earth, she sent a signal through the quantum nexus. The signal traveled to special devices hidden on the 7 human ships. "Neural hack initiating," she reported. "Accessing Vexari communications now." Years of studying Vexari technology had revealed a weakness. Their ship's computer systems were vulnerable to a specific type of attack. Dr. Ross's program slipped through their defenses like a digital ghost. Suddenly, the Vexari ship's communication systems began broadcasting strange messages. Their screens showed humans not as primitive animals, but as equals. Their translation programs altered the Admiral's orders, creating confusion throughout the fleet. "What's happening?" the Admiral demanded as his crew began arguing among themselves. Some Vexari ships turned their weapons on each other, believing they were firing at human vessels. Others simply stopped, their crews too confused to act. Commander Wright led the final attack from her ship, the Intrepid. But instead of destroying the Vexari flagship, she executed a perfect boarding maneuver. "Capture, don't kill," she ordered her strike team as they breached the alien vessel. "We need prisoners, not martyrs." The Vexari Admiral fought bravely, but was quickly overwhelmed. Within 20 minutes, the flagship was under human control. From her position on the Confederation observation vessel, Ambassador Martinez sent a message to all watching species. "The Vexari fleet has been defeated. Their admiral is our prisoner. We could destroy the remaining ships, but we choose restraint. Remember this moment. Humans are not animals to be hunted or dismissed. We are your equals, and it's time you recognize that truth." Across the galaxy, species that had once laughed at humanity watched in stunned silence. The message was clear. The primitives had become predators. 1 month after the battle, Earth's leaders stood before the full Galactic Confederation Council. This time, they were not kept waiting outside. This time, they were treated as equals. President Brooks presented evidence of human achievements: art, literature, philosophy, and technology. Dr. Ross explained the neural interfaces that had given human ships their incredible speed and precision. Captain Russell demonstrated the micro-jump system that had made their vessels seem to vanish and reappear at will. The Vexari Admiral, now a prisoner, watched from a corner of the chamber. He had expected torture or execution. Instead, he had received medical care and respectful treatment. Why? He asked Ambassador Martinez during a break in the proceedings. "Why show mercy when you could destroy us?" "Because that's what truly intelligent beings do," she replied. "Vengeance has its place, but wisdom knows when to stop." After 3 days of testimony, the Council reached its decision. The head of the Confederation, an ancient being called the Grand Observer, rose to speak. "The Confederation acknowledges its error," the Grand Observer announced. "Humans are hereby recognized as a fully sapient species, with all rights and protections such status provides." A cheer went up from the Earth delegation. It was the victory they had fought for. The Vexari will pay reparations for the destruction of the Horizon and Station Delta, the Grand Observer continued. Those directly responsible for ordering those attacks will face justice under Confederation law. The Vexari Admiral lowered his head. He had only followed his people's beliefs about humans, but those beliefs had led to terrible actions. What is your judgment regarding the Vexari people as a whole? President Brooks asked. Many expected humans to demand harsh punishment for the entire species. We seek justice, not revenge, she clarified. Only those who gave the orders should be held accountable. The rest of the Vexari acted according to what they were taught. We ask that they be educated, not punished. Murmurs of surprise spread through the chamber. Even the Vexari delegates looked shocked. In the aftermath, Earth established firm boundaries. No alien ships could enter the solar system without permission. No mining would take place without human oversight and fair payment for resources. The Kilari, impressed by human restraint, offered a formal alliance. Soon other species followed. Humans were invited to join scientific and cultural exchanges throughout the galaxy. Dr. Benjamin Carter established the first true Sino-cultural exchange program. In honor of his wife Patricia, he created a center where different species could learn about each other without prejudice or preconceptions. Captain Eric Russell and Ambassador Martinez negotiated Earth's entry into the Galactic Confederation as full members. Humans would have a vote in all matters affecting the galaxy, including the classification of newly discovered species. 3 years after first contact, humans had transformed from pre-sapient fauna to respected members of the galactic community. Their ships traveled freely between stars. Their ideas and art spread to worlds they had never imagined. On the anniversary of the Horizon's destruction, a memorial was unveiled in orbit above Earth. It contained the names of every human lost in humanity's journey to recognition, the crews of the Horizon and Station Delta, and those who died in the final battle. At the ceremony, a Confederation elder, one of the oldest and wisest beings in the galaxy, approached President Brooks. I have lived for 900 years, the elder said. I have seen many species rise and join our community, but none have taught us as much as humans. What did we teach you? Brooks asked. That true intelligence includes not just the power to strike, but the wisdom to know when to show mercy. We did not believe in humans until you showed us your vengeance, but we came to respect you when you showed us your compassion. As Earth's leaders looked out at the stars, they knew their place in the universe was finally secure. Not because they had proven they could fight, but because they had proven when not to.